We've seen like their connection and their electricity obviously generate some powerful, literally generate some powerful magic so far. Are we going to be seeing any more of a physical expression of the non-human kind?
Between the two of them,
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the great thing is now we're in a position where now, we bound the circle in episode 2. Hi. We bound the circle in episode 2, and since then, there's a lot of great group power, couples going off doing their own thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Cassie and Adam definitely, but theirs is particularly strong. But what becomes a question is it just that it's the two of us particularly, or is it also that it's particularly Cassie?
You were saying that the group's kind of going off. Are you getting to work with any of the other characters more?
Yes, and a joy for all of us is that now by this point, episode 8, we're shooting. We've all gotten to mix. I actually the other day was filming a scene with me, Faye, and Diana, which was us in a car, and that was we all turned to each other and like, this is the first time this trio has ever had a scene like just the three of them. And it's great too because these characters are so specifically written and so different from each other, and they've gotten even more different from each other as we've gone along, that every time you get to do a scene with for the first time or whatever, it's always a new experience to sort of imagine how they'd react together.
Now your TV dad, he had the whole written in the stars aspect as well. So have you been able to film any scenes with Adam where it's kind of that father-son, bonding discussion of talking about relationships?
Well, we've gotten a lot to do together in the rest of the show, which I really like, and I think it speaks volumes about my father and myself, the story that we've gotten to sort of follow. And it turns out basically, this I can reveal, it turns out basically that, this is something I've heard from my father my whole life. So I knew this when she arrived, but of course didn't necessarily believe it.
Right.
You've got a drunk dad who rambles. So now of course I do. But there also becomes a layer of resentment from me as to, well, if my father felt this way so much about Amelia, then how did he feel about my mother? Do you know what I mean? And that sort of starts to fray a little bit in our relationship.
There's no possibility he could be Cassie's father, is there?
There's an absolute possibility.
Oh, no.
That has not been, as of now, I'm not lying to you, it has not been presented or set forth in any way, but I think, all of us up here on the crew and cast were like, what if he's her dad? I like that we who'd make the show, we like to sort of try and come up with theories about what's going on, because we literally get the script a day before we start shooting.
How awkward would that make it? Is Adam and Cassie's relationship to the point where that would just be wrong, or?
I think it's a whole other show if we get into that territory. But you can also ask yourself, if he was supposed to be with Amelia, then why am I supposed to be with her daughter? Because then it's all one big happy family.
Right.
So we don't.
And he's still with Diana at this point anyway.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would Adam react if Diana found someone new?
Well, I've thought about that, and I think that might very well happen. I think he'd be devastated. This is something that we're trying to really focus on in the show, is that yes, Cassie and Adam have this fate that they can't fight, but that doesn't mean that Diana and Adam really don't love, it doesn't mean they don't love each other. They really do, and that's been a great struggle for me. It's not like, as bored of my girlfriend, hot new girl arrived, great, I can dump her. Do you know what I mean? It's a very complex situation with these two people who care immensely for each other, but there's this tidal wave that's just crashing over and over, and yeah.
It's a bit of a have your cake and eat it too situation.
Yeah, I know. I'm always like, can I have both? No?
Diana and Adam have been together though for 3 years, which is in high school years has to be like a million years.
I was just having it for 4 years in my teen years when I got 20.
Wow.
So not far off.
Do you think that's a good thing for their relationship, or are they at this point where they're maybe a little tired of each other?
I don't think they're tired of each other, but I think ultimately the sort of oxymoron of what's great about the relationship and what's bad about it at this point is just the amount of how comfortable they are together. Do you know what I mean? There's an unspoken language. They know everything about each other. So, and that's great. And you see that in our romantic scenes. It's what puts us at ease, and we can laugh about things. But at the end of the day, is also not not necessarily exciting. You know what I mean? In that same way. So it's sort of like a long marriage. Maybe that in teen years, that's what it is.
Is she the kind of girl
Last
who'd set
question,
your
guys.
car on fire if you broke up with her?
No. Diana is, so far has upheld her moral core. You know, she's maturer, I think, than Adam in many ways. In other ways, you know, they're equal. But and also, I will say, all these characters, slowly you find out more about them, and you know, even ones like Faye, we get a lot more insight into her and backstory, and yeah.